All right, traders, we are starting off the week into the green. I've already recovered from my losses on Friday, ended up making a little bit over $8,000 on the day. On the peak, I was up over 15K, but I gave back some profits into the close on some volatile trades with bigger position sizes. But with that being said, I'm going to be recapping the trades and the analysis that was given today. We had a phenomenal day collectively as a whole. We made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Top G ended up buying puts at the exact top. I ended up buying puts towards the exact top in the morning. We had some phenomenal trades. Dimitri was crushing as well. Let's get straight into the analysis in the video lesson. So in terms of the day within Trader Society, we had 55 people go green and only 5 were red. In terms of the analysis that I had given out, we were interested in targeting puts at this 428 closing price where SPY closed that towards Friday. If it were to gap down, it really kind of opened up flat and gapped up. So we went with the higher level, and the higher level, as you can see right here, higher gap at 429.70. This is where we're going to be targeting for puts. So since the SPY ended up gapping up today, basically, we waited for the gap to fill, and that's towards that zone is where we really started to target and hit those puts at 429. And that was the first trade that was made on the day. As you can see, slightly below 52-week highs, the SPY had a gap to fill at 429.70. It has been rejecting all of these gaps on the first initial reaction of testing. On every single gap, there was a pullback. There was a pullback at 422, nice little small pullback. There was a pullback at 428, nice little small pullback. There was a pullback at 429.70. If you scalp in and out and you wait for these puts to go out of the money, meaning when SPY goes above the price we're interested in buying the puts, and then you buy the puts and they go back in the money, when SPY goes below that strike, we sell in the profit, and that's how the money is made, man. So we identified this gap at 429.70. That was our key level within the watch list that most people were not prepared to trade for because they don't understand how the gap close reversal trading strategy works. It's literally the best entry for puts possible. It was a classic gap close reversal level. We had a lot of traders actually buy puts from the high of day, and they are swing trading those puts. In terms of swing trading, I think they're going to be A-okay. I'm seeing a pattern where we could spike tomorrow, but if we're talking overall direction into this week, we're looking at a nice little drop coming up. You know, the top is near and we're having a gap close reversal. You know, SPY closed this gap at 429.70. It's forming the bearish candlestick. It's already dropping off. It's got the first red bearish candlestick, and you can just study how it reacts when it forms this first red bearish candlestick. SPY is trending up. It forms the bearish candlestick at resistance. It has a spike the next day. Then after that, it just sells off, right? So if I see some sort of trend reversal candlestick on the daily chart tomorrow or a bearish candlestick on the daily chart tomorrow, and we are close to this overall range between 427 to 429, I will definitely be interested in swing trading puts for tomorrow because I do think this overall week we will be setting up for a pullback. I could see a little spike tomorrow, but overall we will be seeing a nice drop in my opinion, the way how this chart is setting up with the gap close reversal, and now you got the bearish daily candlestick. These are all great confirmations for overall direction. And then how did we not get trapped in puts? After I banked on puts, the entire day, all I did was call options. All I did was call options on the entire day, and I did very, very well with call options. You know, but with that being said, right here, this was confirmation to close your position and get out of puts, and then if you wanted to, you could try calls. SPY had a gap to fill below, so SPY gapped up, and there's a gap to fill below at the previous closing price, 427.90. You know, this was just at 429.70. If it's going to drop 2 points very, very early in the morning, the most likable outcome would be a bounce at the gap because it's oversold on the intraday gap. Now, what would be the confirmation to buy calls and to get out of puts? So first of all, it's oversold for the micro because it just dropped 2 points. It's going to try to bounce. And if it's going to try to bounce, it's going to try to bounce at this gap because that's where the low of day was. That's where the key support level was. It had a small gap up and had a massive spike. So when it goes back down to the previous closing price where this bear trap got created here on Friday for those who swing traded puts, that's where it's going to try to bounce at that key level. It was also a key level within the pre-market. If you study the pre-market, you can just visually see, I believe that was a key level within the pre-market. Let's take a quick look here. So in terms of the pre-market, yes, very, very key level. You can see right here in extended hours trading session, it bottomed in the 417s, and then you had a lot of support in the, excuse me, this is the wrong, let's go further in. Let's see. So in terms of the pre-market, yeah, you can see there was a lot of consolidation and a lot of support at this gap, right? So it was key support, and then it had a big run up from this key support. But this is the confirmation. And if you caught this, let me know in the comments, because these 30-minute trading strategies that I teach are working phenomenal, man. This 30-minute pattern saved me from exiting my puts, and it also saved me from getting into calls. We did very, very well in calls in this type of situation. Look at this. You have this red bearish candlestick when SPY gaps up. You have this red bearish candlestick when SPY gaps up. What does it do? It goes a little bit lower, and then it recovers and it retests the high of the wick, and then it recovers and it retests the high of the wick. That's the game, man. That is the beauty of looking at the 30-minute chart and just comparing the patterns. SPY had a gap up, SPY had a gap up, SPY formed a bearish doji, SPY formed a bearish doji. It went a little bit under for new lows. Then it recovered and spiked back up towards the high of days. Then it recovered and spiked back up towards the high of days. When I saw that pattern occurring, we were selling puts, locking in gains. I told them, I'll take your profits, and then switching to calls for those who wanted calls, man. That was the most predictable pattern of the entire day. And if you caught that, shout out to you, man, because everything I teach in terms of pattern recognition and history is going to repeat itself. That was an absolute beauty. And you always need to be aware of these 30-minute candles and of these patterns repeating itself, especially on short-term time frames. Not one single person should have been trapped in puts. You all should have been locking in gains when this had a very nice drop at the market open. You got to think, man, it just dropped 2 points from the gap close reversal. There was a gap to fill at 429.70. It filled the gap. It started to pull back. Well, it's having gap close reversals. So you have this gap to fill here at 427.92, pre-market support. It's a key support level with some nice upside potential. And then you got to combine the 30-minute chart. Bearish doji, doji, nearly a gravestone doji, very, very bearish wick. But then it spikes back up to retest the high of the wick. If you've been studying the SPY recently, every single wick it's forming, whether it's a bearish wick or a bullish green wick, it spikes back up to retest. It's been doing that on this very strong uptrend since like $411. If you've been studying the overall direction on SPY, it's been retesting all of these wicks, whether they're green or red. Eventually, it trends back up. And in terms of timing, you could have confirmed that it was likely to happen at that time because, again, early in the morning, overreaction to the downside. It filled the gap. It's going to try to have a reversal, same pattern as Friday. That's the game. And that's the main situation that I wanted to go over. And then from there, man, we were there was nothing to trade. We were bored within the chat. I had a thesis that we were going to close decent, not completely sell off. So I kept on hitting calls. And man, big shout out to that Apple live stream, man. I normally don't do this, but I was watching the live stream on Apple and I put 2 and 2 together. There was over 1 million people watching this stream, a very high conversion rate. 20% of the people smashed the like button. There's over 200,000 likes on this live stream. And once Apple announced that, they were launching this VR headset thing, basically as soon as they mentioned the VR, there was a very nice spike. And the beauty of when they mentioned that, we were literally towards the lows on Apple. We were towards key support. I also hit at the gap close reversal. I did very, very well on Apple calls. I had one more loss trading it, man, because the hype was just dying down and then it turned into sell the news. But I had 2 very nice trades on Apple. And then as soon as Tim Cook, man, it's unbelievable, man, the power someone can have. If they have 1 million people watching a live stream within the stock market, you need to be aware of where the attention is. Because as soon as this Apple VR set was mentioned, the introduction of it, Apple had an instant spike. You could have bought calls right when he was about to announce it. And you can literally tell he was about to announce it. He was literally like announcing it right before he said, like you knew he was about to talk about it. And then it just had a massive spike in price. Calls had a massive spike in price. Then I told people Disney. After that, he mentioned Disney. And oh my goodness, man. When he said Disney, this thing soared like crazy. The call options went fucking insane. This went from $89.50 all the way to $92 within like 5 to 10 minutes. This was the craziest move within the market, man. You got to be aware of where the attention is within the market, because that's where, in terms of everything that you know, whether you're bullish, whether you're bearish, whatever trading strategy you have, it just doesn't matter, because the supply is there and they're going to try to take it for a very, very nice quick spike. That's why it's very, very important to know if someone who has a lot of influence is mentioning a ticker symbol, because it can cause a very, very short-term move, and that move can be predictable. What do you think is going to happen? They're talking about VR. There's 1 million people watching the live stream, and then he mentions Disney. You think it's going to go down? No, it's obviously going to go up. And they did it at oversold levels. That's the beauty of the market. If they're going to say good things about a company and it's at oversold levels on the intraday chart, the most likable outcome is going to be a spike because it's oversold. And this is where scalpers can do very, very well by profiting off of information. So that's a strategy that I normally don't do. But like I said, I wasn't seeing any really too many patterns on the SPY, and I was watching this live stream, and it just made pure logical sense in terms of like a free money play. If this guy just plugged the VR headset and then Apple's spiking like crazy as soon as he plugs it, what do you think is going to happen when he plugs Disney? It's going to spike like crazy, man. So that just happens to be one of those situations where you just have to be aware of, people with big influence and who have those eyeballs and attention, because they can move a stock for a massive move in a very, very short period of time. And that's very lucrative for someone who scalps with an options trading. In that situation, that's where it doesn't matter what type of strategy you're using within the market. It's more of an information play, and you got to time it right. With that being said, that was my overall analysis on the day. This was a very, very nice green day as a whole, as a team collectively. So what are the updates heading into tomorrow? So in terms of the macro chart and where I believe we currently stand, and this can change heading tomorrow, but this is my current point of views. The way I see it is, in terms of the overall week, we are due for a pullback. We are due for a retest of 423 to close the gap at $422 right here. That's what we are due for. We are due for some sort of pullback. The reasons why I personally believe that pullback is going to occur: SPY nearly touched 52-week highs. The daily chart on Apple, which I mentioned in my last video, when Apple touched 52-week highs, that is when it had that nice little bull trap before it recovered and pushed back for new highs. And it looks like Apple's setting up for the same thing. And Apple had a gap to fill, one of the highest gaps to fill at 429.70. The team and I targeted this one, and there was 2 opportunities for it. Such a great play. And with that being said, the top G ended up hitting puts. Steven within the chat, he puts the second time. I was hitting puts early in the morning towards 429. I did well on that. He did it the second time, and I believe he swing traded those, man. He's going to crush it overall. Like, he's holding out. He doesn't care about tomorrow's price action, but in terms of his swing trade. But anyways, there's this gap to fill at 429.70. We're nearly at 52-week highs. We just got a very bearish candlestick on the daily chart. The way I'm seeing it is something like this. We're either just going to gap down, or we're just going to spike. We're just going to spike back up towards like $429, and then it's just going to try to close in the middle. It's going to try to close in the middle. It's going to try to close weak, and then that's the beginning of the bull trap. So basically, if you're swing trading puts from these overall levels and you're just kind of holding, you should be just fine. Worst case scenario in terms of how we're setting up, it has one more spike, one more green day, then we start to drop. So it could be something like this where we just drop, or it could be something like this where we spike, close in the middle, or we close bearish, then we start to drop. Overall direction is looking bearish. That thesis could change based off of how the daily candlestick closes tomorrow, which is why I personally didn't swing trade puts. But based off the daily chart and the prices we're at and the overbought and the gap close reversal, and then we got the gap to fill below, which is even better, and the 428 level key is now resistance. This looks like a home run for those overall holding direction and puts. We also mentioned in yesterday's video, every single time it kind of tested that 428 level for the first time, it just got absolutely wrecked. If you study the history of this 428 level, it is just such a major bearish resistance zone. If you just go back and study the history of it, I would encourage you to go back and watch the video that I mentioned yesterday, because I brought awareness to all that 428 level. But basically, we are setting up for a very, very nice move to the downside. Like I said, most people don't do this, but if you go further back, you can just see, man, the resistance is crazy, and it's towards the gap too. This right here, man, you have this crazy resistance. Where is it? 400 and hold up, man, my charts are like tweaking right now. Let me see. So it was at $428. I got to fix the settings on my chart, man. But this is what I was looking at right here. 428. Every single time, man, it just got crushed. And these were big crashes to 415, 412, 410. And these happened in a very short period of time, in just one day. So we're due for some pullback. And we got multiple gaps to fill below, man. It's just a matter. We have a gap to fill 422. You got to take it one at a time. But this is where we're heading this week. It looks like 422 overall direction later into this week, likely by Wednesday. We have a gap to fill at 415, a gap to fill at 411. So in terms of macro swing trading calls, we're interested in 414, but the best level is 411, and we need a bullish candlestick on daily chart to do that. And then, for puts, it looks like we're good to go in overall direction. So if we spike tomorrow, form a trend reversal candlestick or form a bearish candlestick on daily, and we're towards that 426 to 429 zone, I'm going to look to swing trade puts. That'll be more than enough confirmation for me. But overall, I stand by the people who are holding those puts. I think overall they'll be fine if they hold throughout later in the week and sell and take their profits towards the gap at 422, 423 in that direction, in that sense, 424. So with that being said, that's the overall analysis on the daily chart. Now, in terms of day trading, what do we need to be aware of? So I think we should continue to target puts at the higher levels. So heading into tomorrow, this is our lower level, just something I'm watching for 27.10, where SPY closed at. That's always a key level, previous closing price. But in terms of puts, I will be looking at 428.50 to $429. Obviously, the best level will be 429.50, right around there. But I will personally be looking at 428.50 to 429. I would say a very, very key level for puts would be 429s. That looks like a great level for puts at 429. I'm going to go with the lower levels. And like I said, if we get a bearish confirmation right before the market closes, or if we get a trend reversal daily candlestick right before the market closes, then I will be looking to swing trade those puts. I will be keeping an eye on 427.10. But overall, that's my main interest, man. I'm not really interested in any other levels. So I mentioned in the video yesterday as well, they're going to try to spike this at 426.30, 426.30. This is that key previous resistance. It's going to try to bounce off that, and it did. I played calls on that bounce as well. That was just obvious, man. It had a big crash from 426.30. Well, it had a massive breakout to 429.60. So when it drops back down to 426.30, where this nice little bull trap was created here, they're going to try to turn it into a bear trap because the SPY had a massive breakout on the first time it initially tests. You got to pay attention to these wicks. They're going to give the play away. This super bearish wick with this big downside potential. Well, if SPY is a massive breakout above the wick, what do you think they're going to do when it drops back? They're going to try to bounce it right at that previous resistance, right at that previous wick, because it had a nice breakout. It's now going to react to support. So that was a nice play that I had on calls as well that I wanted to mention within this analysis. But what I'm focused on tomorrow is 427.10 and 429. I'll keep an eye on 428.50, but I think best level for puts could be 429 tomorrow. And I'm going to keep an eye on this 424. This is key support. And then I'm keeping an eye on 422 to 423. In terms of a quick scalp on calls, it would be at that 422 level overall into this week. But my main levels are 422, 427.10, and 429. Favorite levels are 422 and 429. Higher levels for puts, lower levels for calls. Best level for puts, in my opinion, would be this 429. Previous support kind of resistance, never really retested. If we spike back up, like I showed you in that daily pattern, it should be a gift for put options. That's my overall thoughts. That's my overall analysis. So look, man, here's the deal. If you guys are serious about investing into yourselves and, taking your trading to the next level, I would strongly recommend that you join Trader Society. It is the first link in the description. It's a one-time fee, and you get lifetime access to the video lesson library, to the price action trading strategies, to the gap trading strategies, to the risk management, position sizing, psychology, mindset to trading, all the video lessons. You also get access to the entire Discord server, all the networking opportunities within the Discord server. There is multimillionaires within the Discord chat who are there to help assist you, and they share their trades as well. There is plenty of great moderators who are sharing their scalps and day trades and swing trades every single day who are crushing it, man. Steven, Top G, Dimitri, Ninja, Willis. There's so many of them, man. Jim C. I would really encourage you to join the program if you're serious about taking your trading to the next level, man. Let's make this, next overall 6 months the best 6 months of your trading career, man. We are crushing it almost on a regular basis, and we are consistently making money within the overall market. And I would strongly recommend that you guys check it out. It's the first link down below in the description. You get access to live trading, all my live trading alerts, all my trade ideas, all my real-time analysis within the market, all of my trades, and also the watch list and the live trading streams, the live trading voice channels, the Discord server, and the networking opportunities. This is what the Discord will look like. And as you can see, you get access to the watch list, the trade ideas, the trade alerts, the live streams. And this is the most important area within the Discord, man. It's within the Discord. It's the SPY floor. This is the money-making floor. There's nothing like this within the market. We're only trading SPY within this floor. It's the most active floor. There's millions of dollars collectively being transacted within day trades on this trading floor. Some people are doing 30,000. Some people are doing 70,000. They're in and out 3, 4, 5 times a day. And these people are making money, man. And you'll see them. Their names are highlighted within green. It's all within the Start Here section in terms of how this works. But if you want to see live money being made every single day within this trading floor, it's on the SPY floor. There's nothing like this. I literally trade on my phone, and I'll look at the SPY floor, And I just see people are taking money out of the market within seconds to minutes, out in and out like a light, man. And it's truly incredible on some of the people that we have within this program. I've never seen traders as good as this in terms of the scalps that are making. So if you want to surround yourself with the right network, with the right community, with the right information, with the right trading strategies, with the right trading system, I would strongly encourage you to join this program. It's the first link down below in the description. I will see you guys tomorrow live at Market Open. We're going to absolutely continue to crush it heading into this week.